Hello dear students, today we are going to explain a new grammar lesson for first preparatory stage. Today we are going to speak about reported speech 1, which is speaking about the statements. We are not going to explain the reported speech using questions, only we are going to use statements in this lesson. What is the reported speech and what is the difference between it and the direct speech? Reported speech means indirect speech. And what is the difference between it and the direct speech? We will see it very clearly here in these words. In the direct speech, we repeat the exact words as someone said. But when I say the reported speech or the indirect speech, I didn't say the exact words, but I give the same meaning, okay? So, in the direct speech also, we usually use the verb say, and the speaker's words are in quotation marks or speaking marks. For example, Faye said, John studies hard. Here we find the word that Faye said, we put it between quotation marks. In the reported speech, again, or the indirect speech, we report the meaning of what somebody said without saying or using their exact words. We use a reporting verb, usually say or tell, followed by the word that. When I use the word that in the reported speech, I have to omit or remove the quotation marks. I have to remove the commas. Okay. For example, the same example as up, I took it and make it in indirect way. Faye said, John studies hard. It will be in the indirect. Faye said that John studied hard. So we omit the quotation marks and use that instead. Here we have a note. He says, we can omit that before the reported statement. So when I change to indirect, I have to remove or omit the quotation marks. We usually use the word that instead of the quotation marks. But for speaking more easily and quickly in English, we can remove some words that will not harm the meaning of the sentence, like the word that in this case. Here, for example, she said, he was there. I can use that and say, she said that he was there. So that doesn't make a change in the meaning, but it makes it easier to speak in English when I remove it from the sentence. The second one, we use say as the reporting verb when there is no indirect object. What is the indirect object? The person who I'm speaking to. For example, Diana said, I am tired. She doesn't speak to anyone in this sentence, so it will be Diana said that she was tired. So I keep say as it is, which is said in the past, and I didn't change it anywhere. What about changing said? We change said to tell when I have an indirect object which is very clear in the sentence, like this example. Diana said, I'm tired, Ted. So here in this case, Diana is speaking to someone. So this person is called Ted. So in this case, I cannot say said, I must say told. So it will be Diana told Ted that she was tired. So again, when I don't find a person mentioned in the quotation marks or a speaker, two speakers together I will keep the word said as it is. But when I find a person saying the quotation and speaking to another person, which is an object or indirect object in this sentence, I have to change the word said to be told. Okay, when we change a sentence from direct to indirect, from direct to reported speech, pronouns and possessive adjective must change according to the meaning of the sentence. Let's see an example to explain. Rob said, I have just sold my bike. Here, Rob speaking about himself, so he said I. And he speaks about his bike, so he says my bike. In this case, when I change it to indirect, I have to speak about the person who said that words. So I will say, Rob said that, I can remove that as we said before, he had just sold his bike. So we have the word I changed to be he as a pronoun. And we have here my bike, which is possessive adjective. It will be his bike. The second one, we keep say in the reported speech and don't use said when it is all in present. When I find the sentence inside the quotation mark in present and the word say outside is in present too, I will not put said. I will keep it as it is and I will not make any changes except removing the commas or the quotation marks. Example, Sarah says, I love English. So when I change it into reported speech or indirect, I will say, Sarah says that she loves English. What about if I find it here said? If I find it here outside said, I will change a tense inside. I will push a tense from present to past. It will be, Sarah said that she loved English. When the reported verb is in the past form, like said outside, not say or says outside the quotation marks, we usually make the following changes. Let's see the schedule that we have here to explain it very clearly. In the direct speech, it's very different from direct to indirect. In this case, when I find said outside, if it's present simple, we push a tense to be past simple. Let's see an example. John said, I like coffee. Here we find said outside, so I have to push a tense when I change into indirect. John said that he liked coffee. From present continuous, also it will be past continuous. I pushed a tense back. So we will find he said, Mary is cooking lunch. It would be, he said that Mary was cooking lunch. In the past simple tense, what is before the past? It is the past perfect. We know that the past perfect is action 1 that happened in the past and the past simple is action 2 that happened in the past. So we have to push a tense back. Here we have the past simple. It would be past perfect then. He said, I opened the window. It will be in the indirect. He said that he had opened the window. Present perfect would be, of course, past perfect. Sharon said, I have visited the museum. When I change it into indirect, it will be, Sharon said that she had visited the museum. The present perfect continuous, it will be past perfect continuous. So, when I say Tim said, I have been washing clothes all afternoon. The indirect part, I will say Tim said that he had been washing clothes all afternoon. With will, in the future, we make it would. And with can, we make it could. We may, we make it might. Must, we have to change it to be had to. Let's see this four first. Will, and said, I want, which is will not, go to the party. I will make it, push it back a step. It will say, and said that she wouldn't go to that party. Can, Simon said, I can play the guitar. It will be in the indirect. Simon said that he could play the guitar. May, he said, I may go to the cinema. It would be might in the indirect. He said that he might go to the cinema. When I speak with must is like a rule or something that has an obligation that I have to do it. So we say, he said, we must wake up early, for example, to go to school. It's a time. So we here changed must to be had to. He said that they had to wake up early to go to school or to go to their work. In if conditional type 1, when I speak with the first conditional, I have to push it as a tense, not as an imaginary state. So here I have to push it to be in the past form. When I change the present form with if to the past, it has to be from if conditional 1 to be in if conditional type 2. Let's see that example. Tom said, if I see Jerry, I will invite him to the party. This means that it's possible to happen. But when I speak about something that is not impossible, imaginary, I will say, instead of Tom, Tom said that if he saw Jerry, he would invite him to the party. It means that the party ended and he didn't see Jerry. This, we change it to that in the reported speech. Mona said, this is my school backpack. Mona said that was her school backpack. And make sure that you know that we have two that here in this case. That which comes instead for the indirect part or instead of the quotation marks, and that which is the change of this in the indirect. We have the last word in this part, these. It must be those, because I speak about something which is near, anything which is very near to me while I'm speaking. But when I speak it to be far, I say it those. She said, these bags are heavy. It will be in the indirect. She said that those bags were heavy, not are heavy. There is a mistake here. Okay. Here will be there when I speak about something that happened in a place. When I speak about it later, I will say, mentioning that place which is there, not here anymore. Tina said, the book is here. When in the indirect it will be, Tina said that her book was there, in the place she was speaking at. Okay, we will change these time expressions in different words in the indirect or in the reported speech. Now we will put it then. Today, we change it to be that day. Yesterday, we used either the previous day or the day before. Tomorrow, we can say it the next day or the following day. Last week or last month, it can be the week before or the previous week or the previous month or the months before. Okay, let's see the examples. Here we have George said, I am leaving now. It will be in the indirect. George said that he was leaving then. I changed now to be then. Today, Phil said, I will be at the office today at 11 a.m. When I speak it later about Phil, I said, Phil said that he would be at the office that day at 11 a.m. Yesterday, she said, they arrived yesterday. It will be, she said that they had arrived the previous day or the day before. For tomorrow, he said, I will go there tomorrow. In the indirect speech, we say, he said that he would go there the next day or the following day. For last week or last month or last year, we can say, Penny said, I went to the theater last week. For sure, this is past tense. When we find past tense, what shall we make? We have to push it back a tense, which is the past of the past, which is the past perfect form. And then we make the other changes. We will say here, Penny said that she had gone to the theater the previous week or the week before. Okay, with should, could, would, might, and mustn't, we don't change them in the reported speech. And when we find should or could or would or might or mustn't in the direct speech, we leave them as they are in the reported speech, like this sentence. She said, you should help your sister. The indirect form or the reported speech, we will say, she said that I should help my sister. So this is an advice for me. So I speak about myself later and I say should as it is in both cases. If type 2, we use it in the direct speech, we leave it as it is. There is nothing to change in the second type of if conditional in this case. For example, she said that if she had enough money, she would travel to America. The past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous doesn't change. When we find past perfect, we don't have any tense before the past perfect. It is the final past of the past. So we don't change it, we keep it as it is. And the same for the past perfect continuous or past perfect progressive. Don't change it in the reported speech. The past continuous does usually change. When it does, it becomes past perfect continuous. So we can leave the past continuous as it is. When we find past continuous, we can leave it as it is, but more preferable to be past perfect continuous. Let's see the example. Danny said, I had read the book by 9 o'clock last night. It will be in the reported speech. Danny said that he had read the book by 9 o'clock the night before. What did I change here? I changed only last night to be the night before. What about the tense of the verb had read? The same had read because we don't have any verb or any tense before the past perfect in English. Mary said, I was riding my bike yesterday. It would be, Mary said that she was riding or had been riding her bike the day before. So either the past continuous as it is correct, or make it the past perfect continuous is correct. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.